All right, everyone, grab a seat. This movie made me honestly angry. So you've been warned. Today I am recapping the 2015 Hallmark movie, Love on the Sidelines. Sports! The male love interest in this movie is honestly shocking. The way they wrote this character, he has no redeeming qualities, all right? And I was speechless. Now, as with all of my Hallmark recaps, I never remember the female protagonist's name. So in this, we call her our girl. She's our girl. She's the girl we're rooting for. And shockingly, you might recognize our girl as Emily Kinney. And I couldn't remember where I've seen this woman before, but of course, yes, she is Beth from Walking Dead. Now, this is very important. She was Beth on Walking Dead from 2011 to 2018. Love on the Sidelines was released in 2015. So our girl Emily did this abomination in the middle of like the height of her career. I don't get it. Anyway, let me scooch over. How's that? Is that good? We start off in a sports bar during a big football game. No big city royalty-free footage on this one. Shocking, I know. I think it's our first one. We see our girl at the sports bar, like food buffet. Literally never seen that before, but whatever. And she's piling her plate with 6 slices of bread. And then she moves on to the next food container, which is, guess what? More bread. Love a carb queen. While she's loading up with bread, we're getting exposition between her and her friend that she's speaking to. And our girl is basically saying like she's really broke, she doesn't have a job, and she's trying to be frugal. She went to school for fashion, but she's telling her friend like every job that she's applied to at like art houses or fashion places, she's been rejected to all of them. Also, girlie's got crazy eyes. I wonder if that had anything to do with the rejections. I'm just kidding. She's beautiful, okay? She's beautiful. She does have crazy eyes, but she's beautiful. So our girl is telling her friend, like, she's up to plan C at this point, which is to apply to any job. She even applied to the sports bar, even though she hates sports. And it's very important that we know that. The friend's fiance comes over and he's freaking out because the quarterback of the team that he's watching, like his favorite team, the quarterback got injured. But the girlies don't know really what that means.
Did I tell you that he wants to have our wedding cake in the shape of a football?
And you're still marrying him? That is love.
You might have guessed it. We jump from that interaction to the sports locker room and we see the quarterback football guy who's been injured. His name is Danny. Now, at what age do you stop becoming Danny and you become Dan or Daniel? Just something I'm curious about. Anyway, we learned that Danny doesn't need surgery, but he does have to stay off of the foot for 7 weeks. And he's super upset about it. We jump back to our girl and she's tidying up the apartment. The friend that we met earlier, who is also her roommate, she is moving out because she's getting married, and our girl is holding interviews for a new roommate. The potential new roommate comes over for an interview and her name is Patty. And she is vaguely Asian, but not enough to scare off Hallmark executives. Also, how many 20-year-olds do you know with the name Patty? That feels like such a weird choice. Patty says that she's gonna be the best roommate and our girl should pick her because she's basically never home because she is a personal assistant. So she's super busy, she's out all the time, and Patty gives our girl like a bunch of references and like to show that she's not a serial killer. But Patty also gives our girl the number to her personal assistant agency so she can like get a reference from them. But our girl is really interested in it because she wants a job as a personal assistant. Do you see where this is going? Can you guess what's gonna happen next? Back to the football man. Danny lives in one of those McMansions. Love it. He's in this limo with his manager and the personal assistant that he hates. His clueless personal assistant. So they're in the limo and they drive up Danny's driveway. And they're sat in a driveway and they're having this pointless conversation. But what kills me is they're talking, it's pointless, and at the end of the conversation, Danny puts on his sunglasses in the limo in his own driveway.
Danny, look, You're gonna be back on your feet in no time, all right? And let me tell you something, 6 weeks is nothing.
6 missed games.
Stop worrying and start icing.
Make it make sense. Next up, our girl meets with the personal assistant agency. She's trying to get a job as a personal assistant, and we get our first non-white with a unfortunate haircut. But my God, our girl with the crazy eyes again. Honey, that is off-putting. Have you ever considered that maybe this is why you're not getting any jobs? After the interview, which was very positive, great interview, the manager woman is basically like, oh yeah, sorry, I don't have anyone who needs a personal assistant right now, sorry. You called me in for this? But don't worry, literally 10 seconds later, Football Danny's manager calls the personal assistant place and is like, Danny hates his clueless personal assistant, we want a new one. What are the odds?
Who are you?
Laurel Welk. I'm your new personal assistant.
Hallmark loves an enemies to lover plot point situation, but honestly, this man is awful.
It's really nice to meet
Okay,
you.
you can't be my new assistant.
The Amsterdam placement agency sent me.
Oh, okay, unless this is a practical joke. Okay, someone messed up.
I'm a college graduate
College graduate. Am I supposed to be impressed by that?
with honors.
Then why aren't you getting this? I can't have a female assistant.
Even though that's blatantly chauvinistic, I don't understand why not.
I'm a football player. I'm used to being around a lot of guys. I may want to walk around in my underwear if I want to. I don't want to say, excuse me, when I belch. And can you spot me? 150 pounds? I don't think so.
Our girl is like, please give me a chance. I'm really desperate. I need the money. Just let me prove to you that I can do this. Which honestly, fair. I would have said much worse to this man. But she's desperate.
Okay, we'll give this a shot. But just while I'm sidelined. Eh?
Sidelined?
Not playing. Injured.
Right.
Do you know anything about football?
Let's just say I'm learning.
Okay. Well, then let's just say that this is on a trial basis. But as soon as I'm cleared to play, I'm sorry, I'm going back to being a chauvinist, and I'm gonna hire a guy.
Now, have we considered that perhaps Danny only wants a male personal assistant because there is maybe some gay energy here? Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, we know that gays do not exist in the Hallmark cinematic universe. In the next scene, we get this external shot of like a house. Looks like a normal house to me, but surprise, we go inside and it's a like warehouse photo shoot place. Okay. Danny is still being an asshole because of course he is. Spoiler alert, he's an asshole throughout this entire thing. I do not think this man has a positive character arc, but more on that later. Anyway, he's still being an asshole, and our girl brings him lunch, running around, and he's like, you're too late, I've already eaten. Like the grown man that he is. Here at the photo shoot, we also run into Patty, who is the personal assistant to the model that Danny is doing the photo shoot with. And we also learn that Danny and the model are dating. More on that later. And then we get a little bit of Hallmark magic. So the model woman, who's very shitty as well, by the way, but you probably guessed that, her dress gets caught in a fan.
Hey! I'm caught! Somebody help!
Guys, please, could someone do something, like right now? Come on!
I think that I could help.
Please.
Maybe you better not. You can't afford another fumble.
No, I got this.
But Hallmark needs this to happen because remember, our girl is a fashion girly. So our girl re-sews the model's dress. It looks fine, I guess, but she's like completely re-sewn, cut it and everything, which is just like, you're telling me they didn't bring any other dresses to this photo shoot? You're telling me they had time to just sit around while our girl re-sewed this entire dress? Don't ask questions, because you won't like the answer. Back at Danny's house, we meet his dad, and the dad was giving me like was famous energy. Do you ever get that when there's somebody in a Hallmark when it's like, is this a cameo that I should know about? Anyway, I Googled the dad, and he was a ESPN live commentator for like almost 20 years. How far he has fallen. But basically, Danny is really anxious because he wants to exercise, he wants to train hard, but the dad is like, you can't, you need to just chill and rest and heal. Like, just take a chill pill. Literally. I wish he would, but he doesn't. Spoiler alert. Our girl shows up and Danny is surprised to see her. He thought she might have quit by now, and we get assaulted by so many sports puns.
Morning, rookie. I didn't think I'd see you again.
Why not?
Well, you had more fumbles than receptions yesterday. I thought you might throw in the towel.
Kill me, please. You will be doing me a favor. Anyway, Danny wants our girl to walk his dog, and he gets this crazed look on his face because, of course, the dog is huge and the dog hates people.
Newt, come here, girl.
Honey, sue him. But of course, by the time the girl and the dog get back from their walk, the dog loves her. The dog's name is Newt, FYI. The dog loves her, and Danny is like annoyed by this. And then, little interesting scene, the dog doesn't really want to go with Danny anymore. That's a red flag. If a dog doesn't like a person, I no longer trust that person. Next up, some guy comes to the house looking for Danny, and our girl doesn't know who he is, so she's like trying to question, like, who are you? Why are you here? You can't just come in. You know, she's trying to be a reasonable personal assistant. And this man picks her up.
Now step aside and let me in.
Are you always this pushy?
That's how I make a living. Want to see?
Hey, Isaiah. What's going on?
She belong to you?
Thank God there's no HR department to see this. Can you imagine? We learn, of course, that this man is one of Danny's teammates, and she apologizes to him for not knowing who he is, and he does not apologize to her for picking her up. I love that. Back at the apartment, our girl is really depressed because the job is not going how she thought it would. Danny is really difficult to deal with. He hates everything that she does, and she's just feeling like really depressed. And Patty pulls out this like how to be a personal assistant binder, and it's got like all these helpful tips and stuff. Patty is a real girl's girl. Do you know what I mean? She's wonderful. After reading the binder, our girl is like fired up. And so the next day she's at his house. She bedazzled one of the jerseys, because remember, she's into fashion, don't forget. But she also learned what his favorite muffins are, and she made him his favorite muffins. What a wonderful gesture. And he thanks her by saying this.
I made you these. Cranberry walnut muffins, your favorite, right?
What, nothing for the dog?
She already likes me. I hope you like them. I won a blue ribbon for those at the state fair.
Why do you have to be such a girl?
This is a literal full-grown man. His brain is fully formed, and he's belittling her for making his favorite muffins and being too much of a girl. Make it make sense. I'm literally gonna scream into the abyss. Teammate Ron comes over to pick up Danny, and Ron is actually very polite to her. He shakes her hand, he asks her about herself, like he's just genuinely very polite and nice, and he too has crazy eyes. So maybe they should get together and have babies with crazy eyes. While Danny is out at practice, Danny's mom and sister show up. Pleasant enough, they're polite, they're friendly, and basically we learn that Danny is planning their 35 wedding anniversary of the parents, but obviously Danny's not going to do it, so it's going to be our girl. All of the women talk about being hopeless romantics, and the scene ends. I love when women get together and the only thing they talk about are planning parties and men, because that's all they think about. Back at practice, we join Danny in the locker room, and no, there's no nudity, in case you were wondering. I don't know if there's enough nudity in the world that could help this movie. But also, Ron, teammate Ron, is horny for our girl. Crazy Eyes really wants Crazy Eyes, but Danny is grossed out by this, and he really does not want Ron to date his personal assistant. Our girl is late picking Danny up from practice because she gets lost because the stadium is huge. And of course, he makes fun of her for that. Love it. But she does find him eventually, and she gets him to the car, and we learn that she drives like a classic vintage car, which Danny also has an interest in, so they can bond over vintage cars.
It runs really. Just kidding.
Kind of an unusual car for a girl to be driving.
While they're in the car, Danny gets called back to speak to the coach. Remember, he is just hobbling around on crutches really, really slowly. So he gets called out, gets out of the car. Horny Ron pops in, and they actually have a really lovely conversation. It is very short, but it's very polite. And he asks her about her again, you know, and he compliments her. It's just like wonderful. It really is the bare minimum, but in this movie, it seems like he is the nicest person alive. But after their 10-second conversation, Danny is already back. Okay, there is no way that he could have hobbled all the way through the parking lot, spoken with the coach, and hobbled all the way back. It's just not possible. But like with all Hallmarks, just go with it, don't ask questions. One of the tasks that Danny wants our girl to do is to go out and buy a 30-pound bag of dog food for that giant dog, remember, Newt? For her to go buy dog food.
Oh, and I need you to pick up a bag of food for Newt. We use the 30-pound size, but don't worry, they'll carry it to the car for you.
I suppose I'll be the one carrying it into the house.
Well, I can't exactly in my condition. If you were a guy, it wouldn't be a problem.
Don't worry. I'm stronger than I look.
Well, in that case, get the 50-pound bag.
Literally go die. This man is insufferable. Can we say the worst man so far? I feel like I say that every time, but this man, honestly, horrible. Danny has a date with the model girlfriend, and they come back to the house. They'd gone to like this event with young children or whatever, and our girl decorated his house like really sort of sexy with candles and stuff. And she's still there when they get back, so she hides into the bathroom. But the model is complaining because she didn't want to spend time with kids. Love that. And she doesn't like the dog, so he puts the dog out, and she's just really quite miserable. So honestly, these two people are made for each other. Our girl is still stuck in the bathroom, and Danny and the model girlfriend start making out on the couch, and she's stuck. Nothing like hearing your boss have sex to finish off a tough working day. But Newt the dog keeps crying and scratching at the door because Newt really wants to come in, and the model girlfriend's not having it.
Oh my gosh, that dog is ruining our evening.
I mean, maybe if I brought her inside, she'd calm down.
She might, but I won't. Danny, I can't handle this tonight. Got a really early call in the morning, so I'm just gonna go.
Well, I'm sorry she's behaving this way.
Yeah, so am I.
I don't understand what's gotten into her tonight.
Maybe you should look into getting her a really good pet therapist.
A+ acting. So Danny lets the dog back in, and the dog immediately goes to another door and is crying at it. So Danny opens it, and surprise, it's our girl stuck in the bathroom. Love getting cock blocked by your personal assistant. Since the model is gone, Danny and our girl sit down and start chatting, and our girl immediately trauma dumps on this man, and she's talking about how she's a hopeless romantic, but her parents divorced when she was really little, and she felt like she didn't really have a family growing up. Like, damn girl, okay? The whole point of this scene is to show them like warming up to each other, but honestly, I don't get it. After a heartwarming and oversharing evening, the next day, Danny walks in on our girl on the phone and says,
Listen, I've got to get going, but don't let it get you down. There's still some nice guys out there. Okay, bye.
Did I mention no personal calls?
Really? One call. That's insane to me. Anyway, our girl was on the phone with Danny's sister, so it was a business call anyway. But basically, the sister's trying to get in touch with Danny, but Danny is like pushing everybody away. So Danny plops down to complain, and he picks up a notebook that he thinks is his, but when he's looking at it, surprise, it's our girl's like fashion sketching notebook, whatever. He says something along the lines of, these look professional, but then no compliments, like, wow, you're really talented, or like, these are really good. No, we don't get that. But honestly, that checks out. Just gives the book back, no compliments in sight. Moving right along, the next scene, we get Danny all set up to watch TV. He's got all his bits, but then he drops his phone under the couch, and our girl tries to help him.
I'm trying to get my phone. It just
Here, let me
fell
help
under
you.
the couch.
Yeah. I'm guessing this isn't yours.
What, you don't think football players can read literature? Not the only person who went to college, you know. Okay, it's right under here. Do you see it? Right here.
That sound effect kills me. I have not watched a Hallmark movie without the like twinkling magic sound effect. I swear to God. Next up, Danny is doing a telephone interview, which by the way, very smart. Hallmark needs him to be interviewed, but they don't want to pay for more people or a set. So they do it over the phone. That's good writing. The interviewer keeps asking Danny about like his personal life and like who he's dating. Is he still dating that model and whatever? And he doesn't want to talk about that because apparently Danny wrote a children's book about football and he really just wants to talk about the book. So while he's kind of like having this back and forth with the interview guy, our girl comes up with a great response.
That my area of expertise is playing on the field, not playing the field.
They high five over that. Was that worth a high five? I didn't think that line was very good, but maybe I'm just too cynical. After dropping him off at practice, our girl's car stalls. She can't get it to start. So Danny's gonna look at it because he had the same car in high school and working on cars is a man's job. So don't forget. And we get this wonderful scene of him fixing her car.
Yeah, I think I see the problem.
That's amazing.
Incredible. It's here that we get a bit of exposition that our girl has been reading the football children's book that Danny wrote. Not only so she can be supportive of him, but she can also learn about football. And she says some really lovely things about it. Like, she seems like a genuinely lovely person, and he is truly horrible. You'd think that Hallmark movies, which are literally made for women, would write better men. I don't know why it's always like this. We jump back to Danny's mom, sister, and our girl, and they're talking about the upcoming anniversary party. And there are two things that stand out in this scene for me. Number one, they talk about how Danny never introduces his girlfriends to the family, and they insinuate like he's had a lot and they don't get introduced. So it's kind of like Danny's a bit of a slut, which is totally fine, no shade. But then number two, the mom is like, I really wish he would settle down.
I wish Danny would find someone to get serious with. Despite appearances, he's really not one of those player types.
So which is it? He's got loads of girlfriends and won't settle down, or he's not a player? Like, what are we doing here? While the women are working on the party like women are supposed to, Danny is at home working out and he pushes it. He works out more than he's supposed to, and spoiler alert, injures himself. Love that. So he frantically calls our girl, stop what you're doing, I've done something I'm not supposed to do and I've hurt myself, basically. And she has to stop what she's doing in the middle of this party planning and run out to like go back to the house to save Danny from himself. But the mom says, okay, bye, sweetie, as she's running out. And it sounds so weird to me.
Sorry, excuse me, I have to go.
Okay, bye, sweetie.
Like, that's weird, right?
Okay, bye, sweetie.
It's gotta be a voiceover, but I wonder why they had to redo it. Okay, bear with me because this scene doesn't really make sense. Danny is at home working out and he hurts himself. He calls up our girl, I need your help, come home immediately. She drops what she's doing at the party planning committee and rushes to his house. But the next scene, she meets him at the stadium doctor, like the locker room football doctor, and he hasn't hurt himself. He actually doesn't have to wear his cast anymore. I don't get it, but he's happy he doesn't have to wear the cast anymore, so I guess there's that. After the good news, they go back to his house and they're sitting in his backyard and they have wine. Ooh, a little rosé if you don't mind. They start to bond like in the weakest imaginable way of bonding. We've got 30 minutes left of this movie and we just gotta hurry it up. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, our girl is out for a wedding shower for the ex-roommate that's getting married, right? So they're at this just random bar having a wedding shower, and guess who walks in? Yes, Danny and all his very famous professional football bros walk into the same bar. What are the odds? Horny Ron comes over. I think Horny Ron does really well with the ladies. He's very complimentary, which seems pretty basic, but in this movie, it's incredible. So Horny Ron goes over to the women and they all love him because, again, very nice, even though he's got those crazy eyes. And the women invite all of the men over and they can kind of like merge these two parties. Danny is getting visibly and obviously annoyed because our girl and Horny Ron are hitting it off because Horny Ron is being a basic, decent human being. But Danny is looking for a fight because he's pissed off. So he says to our girl, like, why do you hate jocks so much? And she basically says, like, in high school, the football team made her life a living hell.
You know, they only did that because of their own insecurities. Some guys do grow out of it, you know.
But not all of them grow out of it, do they, Danny? Not you. Our girl is at the friend's wedding, the one day off this entire movie. The one day she had off, she's at the friend's wedding, and guess what? Danny calls her. Well, I don't think he talks to her. He either texts her or he leaves her a voicemail or something, but he basically says, like, it's urgent, I need you to come home right now. Doesn't tell her what it is, just that it is so urgent, she needs to leave this wedding and come home immediately. Or go to his house. It's not her home. You know what I mean? So the bride encourages her to go because she's like, love is in the air. You know, maybe this will be like their moment. She's like, you should go. So our girl in her beautiful gown goes all the way to Danny's house. This scene,
What is it? Are you all right? I got here as fast as I could.
Am I the sort of guy who always needs to be the center of attention?
What?
But my sister more or less accused me of that, and then she walked out on me.
That's the emergency? I thought something happened to you.
Well, I needed to tell someone you're the person that I thought of.
In the middle of my best friend's wedding?
Oh, that was tonight, wasn't it? You look great.
I told you I had this wedding, but obviously you weren't listening.
No, I was listening.
Don't you know that weddings are sacred? Rushing here to listen to you whine about something your sister said is not what I would call an emergency.
I wouldn't exactly say I was whining.
I've been at your beck and call for the last 5 weeks. The least that you could do is take care of yourself for one lousy night. It's pathetic. You barely know how to program your DVR for your own stupid football games. You wouldn't know what to do day to day without somebody telling you, and I'll bet you don't even know what the inside of a grocery store looks like. Is there anything that you can do for yourself?
This.
What? The #1 most surprising kiss in the Hallmark Cinematic Universe. I couldn't believe it. And this is why he always has to have a male assistant. And honestly, this is the scene that made me so sad. Sad and mad. He's upset because his sister says he always has to be the center of attention. So he calls our girl and takes her away from something that she's really excited about. She's really excited to be at this friend's wedding. It's her best friend. He calls her away from that to help him, thus making himself the center of attention. And when she gets upset by that and tells him very clear, direct communication, setting boundaries, she's upset by that, he kisses her. I don't get it, and now I'm angry. Thanks, Hallmark. It fades to black and we assume that they haven't fucked because it's Hallmark and that doesn't happen. But it's the next day, she comes over and things are awkward. And they're trying to talk about the kiss and what happened, and surprise, the model girlfriend comes over. But they don't really speak. He just kind of like pushes her out the door and says like he's really busy. And then suddenly it's later, like nighttime. Don't ask questions, it just is. And Danny is hosting this like poker night. And Danny is starting to be very nice to our girl in kind of a weird way. Don't forget, ladies, men can only be respectful to you when they want you sexually. Love that. Apparently, our girl made a bunch of those girly, bedazzled jerseys for a bunch of the football players' wives. So the guys playing poker are like, thank you so much for the jersey. My wife loved it, blah, blah, blah. So she's like making a little business out of these jerseys. Love it. And Ron pulls her aside and says he would really like one for his friend who is a girl. And she says, sure, that's great. And then just walks away. Like, I guess we don't need sizes. It doesn't matter. Horny Ron then tries to talk to Danny that he's seeing someone and he's really excited and it's going well and he's trying to kind of build up to it. And Danny basically cuts him off because he thinks Horny Ron is dating our girl. Okay, this is our miscommunication. We are grown adults. We cut to yet another photo shoot. How many photo shoots does this man need? And the scene is pointless, but it basically just shows our girl looking sad at Danny and the model together. That's the whole point. Next up, the doctor finally clears Danny that he's healthy enough to play, and they hug. Yay! We get a few more scenes that are largely pointless, but it's mainly to show the miscommunication of Danny and the model together, our girl looking sad, or Horny Ron and our girl talking casually and Danny looking sad. To celebrate Danny's healed injury, the family's gonna go out to dinner. Love that. Wonder where they're going. Chili's? Cheesecake Factory? God, I haven't been to an Applebee's in probably like 15 years. Anyway, the family is standing in front of our girl and Danny apologizes to the parents for being such an ass for the last couple of weeks. But he very clearly does not then turn to our girl and apologize to her as well. He just apologized to the parents. The family invites our girl to join them out to dinner, but she says, no, I really can't, unfortunately. And the sister can't join them because she's out on a date. More on that shortly. Danny calls up his manager and asks for a new assistant and make sure it is a guy this time. But we get this wonderful piece of exposition.
Yeah, sorry, Poe. I know you'll miss her, but it's just too hard seeing her every day knowing she's with my best friend.
Literal adults. This man pays taxes. He's probably had a hemorrhoid in his life. Do you know what I mean? Like grown adults. But we just can't talk about our feelings. The next day, Danny gives our girl her severance pay and fires her. Surprise, bitch! She goes home and complains to Patty like she's totally surprised. She's totally blindsided. She thought they had something. And Patty mentions that Danny broke up with the model girlfriend. We didn't see that, I guess. And Patty kind of thought that Danny and our girl were having something, which is what our girl thought. But no, he's fired her. We cut to our girl and the bride friend chatting at the sports bar, and this scene is largely pointless. And here's the thing with Hallmark, and maybe you've noticed this yourself. The first like 45 minutes, maybe even less than that, of a Hallmark is the setup. We are introduced to the people, we get the general plot, people's intentions, like whatever. Most of the stuff happens just like in this very beginning portion. The rest of a Hallmark is largely pointless. It is padding and it is miscommunications. And we have reached that in this movie, well and truly, all padding. The only thing in this scene, and it actually did make me laugh, is our girl and the friends are having a lovely time, right? They're talking, they're commiserating. The girl goes to the bar to get some more drinks. She meets the friend's new husband, who's lovely, by the way. He seems very lovely, nice, supportive, wonderful. And she says to the husband,
will you tell Gina I will call her tomorrow?
Sure thing.
She just walks out. That is not a girl's girl. So then you think, okay, maybe she's had a revelation and she needs to leave right now to do something, right? Like something's urgent. That's what one like normal person would think. But the next scene is our girl meeting with Danny's mom. It's during the day, so you kind of get the feeling that this is the next day. So our girl left her friend at the bar so she can meet with Danny's mom the next day. And then you think, well, maybe they really need to discuss something important, but they don't.
I admire your professionalism.
She hooked up with your son, who was also her boss. But sure, go off, mom. The only thing that's discussed in this little daytime patio meeting is our girl gives some sort of like party list to the mom. Okay, she could have texted a photo of that, but that's fine. And our girl says her next like job aspiration thing is she wants to make those bedazzled girly jerseys as like an actual business.
You know those jerseys I made for some of the players' wives? Everyone says I should try and do something with them, but I'd have to get the licensing rights, which I'm sure I could never afford.
That's it. That's the point of this scene, and we're moving on. It's finally time for the parents' anniversary party. We are almost there, everybody. It's here that the penny finally drops because horny Ron is dancing, aka dating, Danny's sister. Okay, so they're the mystery couple, is horny Ron and the sister, and Danny finally realizes that our girl was not involved in any way. So he fired her for nothing. The fucking idiot. Anywho, the sister was supposed to do a speech and backs out at the last minute and says, "You can do it." So Danny gets up and he gives a speech. Thanks, sis. And the speech is largely pointless. Again, it's just talking about love, and I glazed over. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just couldn't be bothered. But afterwards, his parents encourage him to go after our girl, so he runs out of the party. We cut to our girl and Patty back at that sports bar, and we get this amazing throwaway line.
I am so happy for you.
Thanks.
Why aren't you more excited?
I am. I think it just hasn't sunk in yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. What is wrong with you? You just booked an amazing merchandising deal with the Major League Football team.
Honestly, I'm so happy for her. She literally got the brand rights in what? 60 seconds. Crazy how that worked out. Anyway, Danny calls the bride friend, the ex-roommate friend, because he's trying to find our girl. Okay? Pause. How does he have this random character's cell phone number and not have our girl's number? What? Anyway, the friend tells Danny that they're at the sports bar. Danny shows up. He confesses his love for her and they kiss. Fade to black, credits roll. Honestly, I felt like Katy Perry getting off the spaceship, kissing the ground. We finally made it. For all of my Hallmark recaps, I have three main categories: chemistry, plot, and overall enjoyment. For chemistry, I'm gonna give this 2 out of 5. Our girl really tries. You know, she is a good actor. She's really trying. She's giving it her all. And this man is just honestly atrocious. Our girl really tries to learn about football and tries to be interested in what Danny likes, right? She wants to show an interest. Danny does not do this at all for her. Ladies, can we all agree to raise our standards? For plot, I'm gonna give this 2 out of 5. Personal assistant falling in love with their boss. Okay, we've got something there, but we need a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big Hallmark problem. Sometimes let's think about subplots. Maybe let's think about multiple subplots, but they don't usually. We get this and that's it. And the padding because of it is unbelievable. And finally, for enjoyment, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Our girl, Emily, did a great job. You know, she really tried. She worked with what she had. Do you know what I mean? Danny made me want to kill myself. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this traumatic retelling. If you have a Hallmark that you'd like me to watch, please leave a comment down below. Why not check out this one? Scotland, Christmas, piss bottles, terrible accents. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!